My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft.
All right, it is currently 12:30 p.m. You'll see the fake sun over me where the demons that are gang stalking are stalking with ongoing sensational activity. License 9137942, 06351G2, HHZ1343, and that is an out-of-state license plate. The same gang stalking third parties that are employed at the venue, they're facilitating and engaged in all manner of domestic terrorism, psychological torture, gang stalking that's underway, while they are, as a corrupt business, engaging in the P.O.C. and making money off of it as well. That's the federal RICO case aspect. 3TBG137, 9SYE890. And the people of the state are engaging in that pattern of conduct, engaging in surrounding, surveillance, stalking at the venue, outside of the rooms. This is what's going on when you're walking in and out of the rooms. They're engaging in stalking in the path. The entity is blocking the path. That's the purpose of gang stalking. And it's psychopathic conduct while they are engaging in that at a hotel, just like it is at a Starbucks, just like it is at an apartment complex, just like it is on inside of the library and everywhere else where the people of the state are gang stalking. 6 EUZ 999, 8SCM 782, DZZ 48B6, that's a paper plate, 9LFH 500, and 6JZE 6JZ 5097. All right, this is P.O.C. The fake sun is over me at the West end of the property, where the gang stalker is in room 241, she's stalking with amplified noise. This is literally the pacing that a demon-possessed person is doing while they're not looking at you. This is how you know you're dealing with spirits and you're dealing with mental illness that's engaged in what is the demented behavior of a person that's engaged in criminal conduct with the state. You're going to be prosecuted as a demon, one that's a threat to national security, children, and other people, the public. It is currently 12:32 p.m. I'm going to show you the fake sun that's over me now at the west end of the property, where the people of the state are engaged in surveillance, and impossible light activity is on the second floor level, where the sun is at the same venue where I'm here at 9 o'clock. And this isn't sunlight. That's what that lets you know. And that's not the sun. That's moving from the east to the west end of the property. This is where the Ontario Police Department is, again, at another venue, showing you their obsession with me, their mental illness, their corrupt engagement in criminal surveillance, and masquerading as a law enforcement agency that conspired to murder. It conspires because they are still currently gang stalking. That is engaged in the conspiracy to murder and kidnap an American citizen, and they have already committed attempted murder as an entity, gang stalking me to date. It is currently 12:33 p.m. Alrighty, license 06351G2 8YKS 708. Stalking with sensational activity, monitoring on the internet, and doing so under the fake sun. There you go. I'm doing so while creating activity, just opening up hotel rooms. That's all she's doing, is pacing. This is what 9MBP997 does, the gang stalking housekeepers under the fake sun. Remember, she was at room 241 this afternoon while she was stalking me inside of the hotel with amplified noise. And right now she's pacing back and forth while she's monitoring my documentation about the Ontario Police that engaged in criminal summoning on December 22nd, 2021. And as I'm documenting that, the ongoing impossible maintenance of earthquake conduct, shaking the headboard, shaking the wall, creating an earthquake that is creating impact on the mattress. That's speaking to sensational activity when a demon that's, again, a gang stalking immigrant is monitoring, harassing, and terrorizing pursuant to real-time monitoring on the venue of the internet. That is what I'm describing, the criminal conduct of federal stalking that the Ontario Police Department is sharing in, because the Ontario Police are gang stalking with the immigrants that are remaining under the fake sun, where she was in room 241 this afternoon during the 12 p.m. hour, and the fake sun's over the same location where she is keeping me under surveillance. You're not speaking the English language. You don't have to engage in the demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with activity, stalking with light, which is the significance of the sun being over the same exact corner where my room is located, where the gang stalking demons in California are engaging in criminal surveillance with the Ontario Police, which is the substance of the criminal conduct that I'm currently publishing on YouTube on the venue of the internet, where surveillance is underway, including by the demons at the venue who are gang stalking a relevant position. Ontario Police is keeping me under surveillance while the people of the state are terrorizing and harassing me. And this is the same Ontario Police that has also shared in what is attempted murder as an entity that is still gang stalking. It is currently 5:28 p.m. where you're looking at the maintenance of the fake sun. Don't forget about what the Ontario Police is doing, not only in 2021, where I'm publishing it on the internet and I'm subject to ongoing sensational activity and impossible light activity, while a psychopath that's relevant for deportation is engaging in terrorism of American citizens with a corrupt government that's going to be disbanded. That's the Ontario Police that's keeping me under surveillance while I'm publishing their criminal conduct that's committed as a corrupt state, an entity that's gang stalking me at Stater Brothers. Okay, Stater Brothers, 646 West Holt. That's what I'm publishing online on the internet right now, where a psychopath, and her mental illness is shown through the demonic means of targeting me, because opening and closing any of these doors, these demons that are gang stalking in the hotel rooms, opening and closing any of these doors does not create any impact inside of my room, meaning it doesn't cause the ground under my feet to shake. It doesn't cause the walls to tremble. It doesn't cause the bed to shake like it's an earthquake while I lay on it. The entity is engaging what is targeting with audible activity, stalking with light activity, which is occurring and identified under the fake sun. This is also context because this is where the Ontario Police is stalking by helicopter. This is where the City of Ontario is gang stalking by commercial planes. All right, and they're doing so with the gang stalking immigrants at Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is right here over me in the same parking lot at 7:15 in the morning. And this is where the entity is keeping the fake sun after 7 p.m., where the people of the state are engaging in surveillance. That's light activity, relevant positioning, and my voice is the guise of audible activity. This is a sex offender that's monitoring my vagina, and they represent an entity, and they're stalking. That's why in Costa Mesa today in 2024, the fake sun's remaining over that hotel, where you're looking at the people of the state that are engaging in state surveillance, and the gang stalking immigrants are going to be deported. deported. And those that are engaging in criminal monitoring with the government, 7BTN 842, is acting with impunity and malice. And so is this demon on foot, walking in engineer light. She's on video under the fake sun at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 11 o'clock in the morning, gang stalking while Alan D. Wapner has planes flying over my room while I'm at this corner. She's gang stalking while you're looking at the specific actors that are heavily engaged in that P.O.C. That's the entity that is a psychopath while they're gang stalking. You looking to the left and the right, gang stalking as a stranger, gang stalking in the specific environment in all manner of impossible light activity, okay? That's the entity that is gang stalking with the immigrant population. They're going to be deported, all right? License 9GTD454 represents the gang stalking employees. That entire family of demons are engaging in that pattern of conduct. And this gang stalker is targeting while Ontario Police's criminal conduct is being published on the internet, because they're not only gang stalking here in relevant position, the entity is keeping what I'm publishing about their criminal conduct as an entity, which includes the Ontario Police, under surveillance. And that is what is inspiring the simultaneity of impossible activity. All right, opening and closing these doors doesn't cause beds to shake and create impact on this double mattress bed. It doesn't cause an earthquake through the headboard on the wall. That's a demon that's targeting. And she pulls out her cart because she's trying to give you an explanation. There is no explanation for being an engineer light and under the fake sun. All right, but these gang stalking demons are always relying on some sort of veneer that has nothing to do with why you're going to federal prison for gang stalking with the police, period, or for engaging in the P.O.C., period. Pulling out her cart is a means for explanation. Why is she still here? Why is she still walking? What is she doing outside of my room the moment that I open my door? This demon is stalking outside of my hotel room. That's what she's doing. All right, and she's a demon stalking with sensational activity. This is the same hotel room where you see impossible light on the ceiling, and that's impossible light right here, okay? You see my shadow? This is entirely shaded. That's a psychopath that's stalking me, keeping their back, looking the opposite direction. It is also monitoring my vagina. That's what you also need to know about what's wrong with their sick mind. And that represents the entity of demons that's gang stalking. Our 45 rooms are in Gallant's here, and that's the entity that's monitoring on the venue of the internet. It is currently 5:32 p.m. There is no iteration of anything other than gang stalking when you're in room 241, and the fake sun is right here, as I documented this afternoon, and this same gang stalking non-English immigrant in my country keeping me under surveillance and is engaging in terrorism against American citizens, and those of that same status are going to be deported. And it's justice. It's currently, again, 5:32 p.m. The fake sun's right here, gang stalking as an entity. The entity is keeping the fake sun where Costa Mesa Police, Orange County Sheriff's Department's gang stalking on this day in 2025, where the fake sun's remaining over the Best Western on Newport Boulevard. P.O.C. It is currently 9:15 p.m. This is documentation. The entity is maintaining I'm subject to ongoing harassment. So stepping outside, the entity is maintaining amplified audible activity. Again, the demons are walking around with 4 shadows surrounding their person. These are demons clearly shown, as clear as the fake sun over them during the day. Having groups of shadows around their person is as obvious as a fake sun that remains over the building. So this is documentation of the demons that are engaged in gang stalking. Gang stalking is the maintenance of an environment which is supernatural, and it's also psychologically harmful. It's inherently harassing. This is harassment that's going to be prosecuted based on harassment by the public entity. The government is harassing. The government is stalking. The government's engaged in psychological torture. The government's engaged in sexual violence, and the government is engaged in what is domestic terrorism, while a population and the government itself at all places, at all times, is keeping an American citizen under surveillance in violation of their constitutional and human rights, because criminal monitoring is that which is above and beyond just stalking from place to place and listening in on your phone calls, etc. The government is monitoring your breathing patterns, how many times you're blinking, how many times you rub your hands together when you're washing your hands, if you're washing your hands, everything about your physical being, your movements. These are demons that are monitoring. Okay, this is surveillance by the government. License 7FYM489 is stalking in the path. While I'm inside of the room, the entity is maintaining ongoing amplification. They're gang stalking at the front desk. This is what you saw, for example, at 9:45 in the morning, and I'm walking outside, and the demon of the Ontario Police license 1644200 is stalking in the path in the engineered environment, which is shown during the day as a fake sun that's over the same staircase where you saw it today at 5 p.m., where I'm showing you the gang stalkers who are working at the venue, staying at the venue, maintaining presence all around. They're all a bunch of demons who are all stalking. And they're also obviously stalking while they all know that they're being exposed to stalking, and that's also why they're going to be prosecuted in the ways in which gang stalkers in the state of California, which is speaking to how a government is going to be prosecuted from here on out with regard to what is exposed and no longer a secret or an unsubstantiated conspiracy theory theory. Federal group stalking and monitoring gang stalking in the United States. 9GTD454. And again, 7FYM489. The gang stalking employees that are stalking by maintaining presence in the office, which is also where they reside, they are engaged in everything that I'm documenting, which is criminal surveillance. And they're doing it relevant to a federal RICO case because they're making money off of gang stalking. And that's also relevant to deportation of these gang stalking immigrants. License 9GSV791, 3UUU144, paper plate DEO7Y05. License 8FCZ703, and the fake moon is over the venue, as I've documented the pattern of conduct. Keeping the fake sun over me during the day, the fake moon over me at night. And this is, again, the very unintelligent population that is shown to be literally targeted with evidence in the same way that they're targeting an American citizen and keeping them under surveillance. Their criminal pattern of conduct shows that they are engaging in that, and it's beyond a reasonable doubt. 5RRZ945, 8YKS788, 3TBG137, 7KLC572, 7BTN842, 7XQU720, 9MLB367, 9UCR853 on video gang stalking this evening, driving into the parking lot, monitoring with impunity. That's the entity which is going to be dealt with regard to the impunity with which obsessed stalkers that are acting in furtherance of trying to murder and kidnap and psychologically torture someone. When I'm capturing real-time evidence like I am now, the entity that's acting in furtherance of that criminal conspiracy, you're going to prosecute based on that impunity that a government who is acting through the population they're gang stalking. In other words, they are acting in furtherance in real time while you're documenting it, while the federal government is witnessing it, of trying to murder somebody by gang stalking them. And this is what is relevant to the real-time pattern of conduct that remains underway. The entity's flying over the parking lot. That's Ontario International Airport, license 6KHR521. And that's the impunity of Alan D. Wapner. He's not remaining in office anyway. His obsession with my vagina by being a gang stalking president of the airport authority where criminal surveillance is underway is enough to remove him from office. And his real-time engagement, and it is attributed to the corrupt public official who was exposed as such when any airport in any city is engaged in the criminal pattern of conduct like the City of Ontario International Airport is. Okay, I want to be clear, 9:19 p.m., flying south over the Economy Inn. Remember, it's the field behind this hotel, the grocery outlet parking lot, the Walgreens, the Philadelphia and Euclid Avenue intersection. There is no airport arrival or departure where they're flying what would be south over the 60 freeway, veering and then turning east to fly back toward what would be the direction of the airport. The entity is clearly stalking, and doing so with the impunity that I just detailed is going to be relevant to the ways in which domestic terrorists are going to be prosecuted and removed from office and discussed on things like the news with regard to the lawlessness, the impunity, the desperation, the ongoing disregard for justice when public officials continuously targeted me, trying to murder and kidnap me, and after having committed attempted murder as an entity, which Alan D. Wapner is directly engaging and targeting me through his corrupt position over a gang stalking airport. 6EUZ999, 9SPD246, GW08HV, that's a Texas plate, 6JZE097, 9LFH500. And the entity is flying over my head while I'm standing in this parking lot, which is under the fake moon and where engineer light is remaining. And I'm stepping out, documenting the entities maintaining amplified noise, just like the gang stalking demon that wants to be disguised as a housekeeper. This is exposing public corruption. You're not a police officer. You're not a patron at a hotel. You are not a manager at a hotel. These are third-party gang stalking domestic terrorists. They're third parties in the specific environment. Now, your position that you hold, that's nothing other than an admission in court to criminal presence, criminal activity creation while you're monitoring someone. And stating that you don't know them, stating that you didn't intend to, stating that you didn't mean to is absolutely no defense. Where the government's engaging in the pattern of conduct in the way that I've shown you, keeping a fake sun over the west end of the hotel, where the entity is also targeting by helicopter activity, also targeting by a police department, also targeting with the airport, and the people of the state are also targeting the way in which you're showing. I'm documenting to you their housekeeping, where light is on the inside of the ceiling inside of the hotel rooms, where you're just coincidentally and ignorantly engaging in the elements of monitoring. You're going to be prosecuted, and it is a means of admission when their positions, their their names, their identity, their attachment to that environment, to that venue, is going to be a basis for prosecution. Samoa Village Mobile Home Estates is gang stalking by residents. They're doing so with the Ontario International Airport, and they are doing so on a systematic basis. They are doing so with impunity, that is. Because you do not have a defense, it will be a means of prosecuting the people of the state that systematically murder and kidnap, harass and terrorize and sexually violate an American citizen whom they're keeping under surveillance through the convenience of the public corruption of gang stalking as the people of the state. That is a government that keeps American citizens under surveillance in a manner where they can never escape it. And that's why where you live will be a basis to put you in federal prison, where the facts support it, like they are at Economy N. All right, it's federal stalking underway at the venue, and it's 9:23 p.m. P.O.C.